Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can convert these IDs into product IDs that are all 8 digits long. So if you've ever entered a number in Excel, you know that if there's leading zeros, it'll get rid of them if it recognizes it as a number. In order to keep those leading zeros, you need for Excel to recognize that as text. Now in this case, I've already entered the data, the zeros are long gone, so what I want to do is add them back. So I'm going to show you how we can do that. So I'm going to create a field for product ID, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ensure everything is 8 digits long, regardless of whether it's 5, 6, 7 digits, whatever the case may be. I'm going to add that many zeros necessary so that it becomes 8 digits. And how I can determine how many zeros to add is I'm going to use the length function. So len, and I'm going to select the ID value here. So that tells me there's 5 characters, 5 digits in here. So I would need to add 3 more digits, 3 more zeros to make this 8 digits long. So I'm going to copy this down. And as you can see, the lengths are all different. So it's not as simple as just saying, okay, let's say I'm going to add 3 zeros to this number and then copy that formula down, because as you can see, 3 plus 4 would be 7, 3 plus 6 would be 9. So I want the digits all to be 8, or the product IDs to be all 8 digits long. And so in order to do that, what I'm going to do is calculate the number of digits I need to add, the number of zeros I need to add. So for that, I'm going to use a simple formula, just 8 minus the length of that ID. So this one was 5, so that means I'm going to need 3 more zeros to add to this. So I'm going to copy this formula down. And so this field right now is telling me the number of zeros I need to add to make this an 8-digit product ID. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rept function, which repeats text a given number of times. So in this case, the text that I'm going to repeat is the number 0. And the number of times I'm going to repeat it is 8 minus the length of this. So in this case, I'm going to repeat it 3 times. So I'm going to close that formula. And in this example, because this argument is text, I'm entering 0 here. So the formula is going to know, the function is going to know that this is a text value. So it's not going to store it as a number. That's important because now when I hit enter, those zeros are there. And the one thing you'll notice is that they align to the left-hand side. So in Excel, a quick way to know whether something's a number or text is where it aligns by default. Now obviously you can change the formatting to make it centered, left aligned or right aligned, but by default, if it aligns to the left, that tells you it's text. If it's aligning to the right, then it's a number. So this is an important distinction to be able to tell. So in this case, this is already reading as a text. This one's a number, but if you combine text and number, it becomes a text. So all I need to do here now is use the ampersand and add a 2. And just like that, now I've got my product ID, and let's check the length here. Use the len function, 8 characters long. So now what I'm going to do is copy this down, and let's do a test of this. Right, so as you can see, all of these product IDs are now 8 digits long, regardless of how long. Like in this case, we just had the number 1, right? So we filled in 7 zeros, still has a length of 8. So this is how you can work with Excel to allow it to fill in the gaps or to fill in the missing number, the missing IDs or characters that you're missing here. So the key thing to remember is use that rept function, and that'll repeat whatever digits or characters you want to repeat. And then as for the number of times, we can use the length function, the len function, to determine how long the original ID is. And then in this example, 8 is our desired number of digits that it should be. So 8 minus that ID length here tells us how many of these zeros need to be added. And then at the end, all we're doing is we're adding that to that original ID, because this first part is going to represent the leading zeros. And adding that on top of that ID. And so that's how this works. So we're basically combining them together, and now it's reading as a text value. We're not losing those zeros. So that's how you can manipulate a product ID if it's missing leading characters or digits that Excel may have stripped off, as in the case of when you're dealing with leading zeros.